Okay, so now the base is done on our face. Time to move on to the eyes. So we're just going to do something a little bit light and easy for the day. So I'm going to use this. This is the PUR Soirée Diaries palette. It's pretty neutral, but it has some like really pretty glitter. Can we call them glimmers from now on? Not glitters, but there's some nice glitters. But it's a very neutral tone palette. So we're gonna start. I'm gonna grab a nice, kind of a fluffy brush. This is the M518, and I'm gonna start with one of these lighter tones. I think I'm gonna start with this guy, and then mix it with a little bit of this one, just to kind of set the lid. We already set it down with our powder after we used the concealer, but just to kind of set it down, add a nice little base to have all the other colors blend on well. So this is the colors Socialite and Mogul that I'm kind of mixing together and blending. Let me turn the brightness down. There we go. All right. So mixing Socialite and Mogul all over the lid from the lash line all the way up to the brow bone to create a really nice base for all the other colors to blend. So then I'm going to go into this other color. This is kind of a brownish color. It's called Gala. And I'm going to take that and start working that as like a transition shade in the crease. Using the same 518 brush. It's a big fluffy brush. Ooh, this is a little bit powdery. But these colors blend really, really well. I quite like them. So just kind of working that into the crease all the way from the outer corner, taking it pretty far into the inner corner. Just to put a nice transition shade down. Okay, so now I've got a good transition. I'm going to move into some of the other colors in the second row, starting with these first two. So that is Private Party and Socialite. I'm going to take a smaller, more tapered blending brush. So this is going to be the M411. This is actually a new one I just got, so it's very tapered. Gonna get a little bit of splurge and then a little bit of stunner. And again, start working this into the crease, but kind of keeping this closer to the outer corner. And a lot lower than that first transition shade that we laid down. These are blending up really nicely. It's getting a nice wash of color all over the lid. I'm going to try to pack this on the outer part of the lid as well, just to add a little more depth. And then taking a little bit more of this, I'm going to kind of just run it under the lower lash line to kind of tie it all together. Since this is a very, very tapered blending brush. Just gonna just to tie it all together. So then switching, I'm going to go to another one of my favorites. Let's see here, where is it? So back to the trusty M433, and I'm going to take Snazzy, which is this kind of more, there's two dark tone colors in this palette. Snazzy's a little bit more warm tone as opposed to Epic, which is a little more cool tone. I think with this look I want to stay a little more warm tone, so I'm going to stick with Snazzy. And I'm going to take this onto the brush, and I'm going to start just working this into the outer V, but very, very lightly, just to darken it up slightly. Again, kind of rolling this brush between my fingers just to make sure it stays very maintain control. Just packing this on the outer corner of the eye. Alright, now I'm going to grab another flat brush. So this is the Morphe Y23. It's a flat definer brush. You can use it for eyeliner, you can use it for brows. I like to use it to smoke out the lower lash line. So I'm going to go back into Snazzy and I'm going to dip into Stunner. So I'm bend this back, so I'm grabbing Snazzy and I'm also grabbing a little Stunner and just running that under the lower lash line to kind of just darken it up a little bit and define. I'll also grab a little bit more of this Epic since it's a little bit cooler tone, but it'll work as a nice eyeliner. So then with Epic, I'm also going to work this onto the upper lash line to kind of define the lashes and do like a little bit of a shadow liner. Normally I like to do a black for this kind of technique, but this is a really dark eyeshadow. So I'm going to try to stick to one palette and see if we can do a whole look with just this one. Oops, there's a little bit of fallout. I'm just going to grab a big fluffy brush and wipe that away. Okay, so now it's looking nice and smoky. I'm going to go back in with the M411 and go back into Stunner with a little bit of Gala, which is this lighter kind of taupey color here on the top row. And again, just kind of work this into that crease and on the brow bone just to tie everything together. So now you could definitely stop here and just have a very simple, smoky, everyday kind of look, or you can use some of these glitters and really take it up a notch. I'm not sure what color I want to do. Let me try to swatch these guys. So there's Glitzy, which is kind of like a gold, Twinkle, which is kind of like a rose gold pink, Dazzle, which is kind of like a taupey, and Cosmo, which is kind of like a dark brown. So we got these four colors, and then let's see how they swatch. Yeah, those swatch really nicely. Kind of looking at the swatches, I'm kind of into this Twinkle, the kind of pinky color. So I'm going to grab a flat definer brush. I could also go in with my finger. I'm going to try with my finger first. So I'm going to go with Twinkle and kind of just pat this on that inner corner of my eye. It's going alright. It's not really doing much with my finger. I'm going to try it with a brush. Yeah, it's alright. Alright, let me grab... Okay, I'm going to grab... I don't have my Max Fix Plus with me right now, so I'm just going to use a little bit of this Urban Decay All Nighter. And I'm going to spray this flat definer brush. And then I'm going to go in with the same Twinkle color. And then really try to just like pack this on and see if I can build up this color at all. Oh yeah, that's a lot better. I'm going to work this under the lower lash line too, just slightly. just to add a little color. And then I'm going to go back into this 411 brush and a little bit of splurge and stunner. Again, kind of just packing it in the center and blending out the line between the glitter and the matte. And there you have it. So I'm going to go ahead and really quickly finish up the other eye off camera, and I'll be right back. Hi, so I'm back. I went ahead and finished the other eye off camera, so it's looking the same as this one. Adjusted the lighting a little bit, kind of fixed things to make sure it looked better. And then also while I was away, I actually ended up going back into this palette, and I hit this darkest brown shade again with a flat angled brush. And then what I ended up doing is I spritzed this brush with a little Fix Plus after I dipped into that brown shade, and then applied that as the liner. So that actually ended up intensifying the shadow liner, because this isn't quite as dark as the black in the Huda Beauty palette that I normally like to use, but I think it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty natural, so that helped a little bit. So let's finish up the eyes really quickly now that we have both eyes done. So I'm going to go in with my favorite lengthening and separating mascara. So this is the Benefit Roller Lash. So I'm going to let's grab the same palette, as get a mirror so I can see what I'm doing. I got a little tester size just to try it out, because especially with mascara, you rarely go through an entire tube of mascara, especially when you're supposed to be throwing it out every 3 months, is what they say. Since you are putting it near your eye, you don't want to get any kind of like bacteria or germs or anything near your eye. So with these like higher end mascaras, one of these, like, I think I've had this one probably coming up on that like 3-month mark. I don't remember exactly when I got it. I think it was probably around January or something. So now it's March. End of March, I need to be getting a new one. So there's still plenty of mascara in there. So these little, you can pay $12 for a little mini guy, or you can pay $24 for a large size and still throw it out in 3 months, and there's a lot of like wasted product. So especially with the designer mascaras, these little ones are a great deal. I might pick up a full-size one, because I think I saw on the Ulta 21 Days of Beauty that Benefit Roller Lash is going to be on one of the days. So I'm going to keep an eye out for that and grab another, because I really do love this one. So now I'm going in with the L'Oreal Lash Paradise. This is fantastic. I think I started wearing this last fall. It's amazing. I love it. I don't think I've ever been in love with a mascara before I had this one. And on the days that I don't really wear false lashes on my everyday basis. But honestly, I don't feel like I need to with this stuff. Like, do you see that? It's amazing. I love it. I love it so much. The only thing is, if you have really, really long lashes, it does tend to kind of transfer if your lashes are like super long like mine, or you really pile it on like I do. So just something to keep an eye out for. Make sure it really dries. I get close to the actual lash line and really kind of wiggle it in there, and then twist the brush to make sure it's really nice and coated along the bottom. And then I lengthen and separate by pulling up. So again, kind of get really close, kind of wiggle it and twist, and then pull it up. I think it's beautiful. And I also add a little extra and really focus on the outer lash line to kind of trick the eye into thinking that you've done, or like other people's eyes to think that you have like false lashes that are longer on the outside and shorter on the inside. So I really add an extra coat on the outer corner of the eye. There you have it. One time I forgot to wear mascara. I was like in a rush and I ran out the door, and I was like, why does my face look weird? I couldn't figure out what I was missing. And then I was like, oh, mascara. You can't see my lashes. So last step, for just this really quick look, Let me find it. Okay. So I got a couple eyebrow pencils. I think I'm going to go in with this one. This is the MAC eyebrow pencil. This is in the color Spiked. I love this guy because look, it's so thin. Like it is just like the tiniest little guy. It's really, really small. So I'm going to go in with this guy and just kind of put some like very light kind of feathering like strokes at the beginning of my brows. And then I'm going to go in with this. This is the IT Cosmetics Brow Power, and just kind of fill in the rest of my brows. I'm just going to start with this guy because it's so small and just fill in the very, very front of my brows. Just by pulling it up very slightly, kind of recreating some like hair-like strokes using a light hand. This one's really pigmented, so I think you can get away with using a very light hand. And then I'm just dragging it through the rest. Filling any kind of any sparse parts that I might see. Okay, and I'm going to move on, use the IT Cosmetics. It has a great little spoolie, so I'm just going to run that through, make sure the brows are in a shape that I want. And then this guy, since it has a much wider tip, it's much, much larger than the MAC. So then this one I can just kind of fill in much more quickly because it is so big. And there you have it. The eyes are done. Ready to move on to the next steps.